Well, hello. It has been a while. Welcome to another soulful yapping session. How are you? I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're feeling loved and supported. I hope I hope you've been doing okay since the last time I spoke to you in this kind of medium. How are you? Have you had your water for today? I know some of you be fighting it. You fight it like the plague, bro. Have you been feeling supported? How's your shadow work going? I know if any of you are like myself, this past March, February, January has been a lot. It has definitely been a lot for a lot of people. So, I'm hoping that you have felt things shifting in the ether, in the spiritual plane. Oh no, where's my earring back to this? Oh, there it goes. Let's see. Can I hook this on or can I not do that? Oh, I can. You know when you start with a plan and you're wanting everything to happen a certain way and then it doesn't happen the way that you want it to happen and you have to kind of pivot. I feel like that's been happening a lot here recently. So, as always, before we... almost forgot my ring. There we go. Before we get going, I like to show you all my mobile. I know it's been a minute. It's been a hot minute since I've done one of these videos. I think the last video that I did was last week sometime. And I want to do these at least once a week to do updates on what's happening with me, check in with you guys to see how you're doing, see how you're faring with all the things that you are manifesting and attracting. And just to kind of do like a pulse check, if you will. Have you had your water today? If you haven't, have some water with me. Now is an incredibly good time to do this. There have been a lot of little changes that have happened that have been... Let's have some more. Changes that are questions that need answering. No. 3 minutes and 13 seconds as I'm getting into it. Hello, you. How are you? You good? Yeah? You not so good? You tired? Because I am tired. I'm definitely tired. So I suppose we just get into it, huh? We get into it, yeah? I have to say it's been like a challenging past week. Since the last time I did a video, I think it's been challenging, but everything has been like, I felt like it was really small and it shouldn't have been as challenging as it was, if that makes any sense. So there have been habits that I've had that I've used as crutches to kind of stomach and get through days where it's just hard or I'm bored. 4 minutes and 4 seconds as I say that. And I was moved by spirit to stop using those crutches. And I was like, what do you mean? So something that I do, vulnerability moment, is that I will create when I don't have a relationship, a romantic relationship happening in my present moment. Something that I've had a history of doing is I will create a relationship in my mind, based off of like anything. And I'll create this relationship and I'll have this really solid relationship where I feel loved and I feel supported. And I do that whenever in my waking life, I don't have a relationship happening. It has brought me a lot of comfort over the years. It's kept me like kind of focusing on other stuff. Oh, excuse me. However, Spirit was like, it's time to stop doing that. And I was like, what do you mean? This is one of the things that brings me so much joy. And they're like, well, you're experiencing joy in other places, aren't you? And the truth is, I am. I have officially been streaming video games, I would say, for 3 weeks now. And when I started streaming, I should say about 3 weeks ago, I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't figure out the tech side of things. I was kind of fumbling around. I didn't like how my videos looked. They seemed really like unprofessional, or very like, you know, when you first get started doing any type of anything that's new. And I didn't really have a schedule. I didn't really know what I was doing. And now I have a schedule by which I stream video games. I have a schedule where I post, so I kind of have a posting schedule that's kind of light. And while I am doing all of this, I also am in the position of now, like, it's like I'm not necessarily looking for a job because I'm still not moved to do that. However, a conversation that I ended up having with my parents, they were like, well, you know, things are tough right now. Financially, things have kind of reached a place where we need assistance. You know, when I first moved back, my parents both had really great jobs, and, you know, it was kind of a, yeah, get here and, you know, we can support you until you can get back on your feet, essentially, because my ex was the person who was making money. So leaving that relationship, I wouldn't have been able to really leave that relationship comfortably if my parents had not stepped in and said, hey, move back in with us, we'll support you, we know you don't want to do this, we know this is the last thing you wanted to do, but in order to move forward with your life, we want to help you. And since that happened years ago, both of my parents had been laid off from their jobs. Things got really dicey. I had gone through like a master's program. It's like a lot of stuff has happened since then. And so now, because the family is in the position that they're in, I am now, you know, like applying and like talking to people. Just, it's like, me personally, I don't care to have a job, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Like, because I've done it. I've done the interview process. I've done the sit there and, you know, kind of lie about why I want this job because it sounds good, instead of what we all know the real reason is, which is, bruh, I need money. So it's like and it could be that I'm potentially autistic, but it's getting harder to lie. Like, it's getting harder for me to go and show up and put on a happy face even when I'm not happy. Like, it's getting a lot more challenging to do that. And that's part of the reason I have kind of felt this struggle that a lot of people my age are having, which is we're finding it difficult to maintain jobs that are literally eating away at our souls. And a lot of people are really only where they're at because another opportunity has not cropped up. The minute it happens, people are dipping. Like, I saw an article the other day that was talking about how millennials and Gen Z refuse to be loyal to companies. Well, when's the last time y'all was loyal to any of us? Like, the massive amounts of layoffs that have happened in the past, people not getting raises, people getting laid off, and then their job is reposted. And it's put up there on the job market, but the person making money will be making $4 or $5 less than what the original job was paying someone. And I get that there's inflation. I get that the United States of America's economy is garbage right now. I totally get that. I know there's a lot of moving parts. I understand that completely. But I was talking to some other friends of mine who were like, no, yeah, it's hard. It's, for some reason, 9 minutes and 23 seconds as I say this, for some reason, it's gotten harder to be at a dead-end job and be okay with it. Like, I used to be able to do that. It was really easy for me to do, actually. I had quite a few jobs where I was working. I would get up, I think I said it in another video I did, I would pop up at 4 a.m. and I would leave my apartment. You know, I'd get dressed, get ready to go. I'd leave my apartment. I would be at work a full hour and a half earlier than most of my other coworkers. And I would just be there trying to get my mind together, trying to get started, get the motivation. And I needed to get in earlier than everybody else to do it. and then I would stay. And of course, it meant that I left an hour early, but because of Boston traffic, because that's where I was working, I was in Boston, that was like a 2-hour commute home. So, you know, I would only have maybe, how many hours? So if I get off at 4, and I wouldn't get home until 6. So then 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. I only had about 10 hours worth of go home, cook dinner, try to relax before I had to be in bed again to get up at 4 a.m. the next morning. And a lot of people do that. I'm not unique in that regard. There are a lot of people who are out there busting their ass as we speak, trying to get themselves together, trying to survive, and then also trying to work their jobs. So it's not just me out here struggling, and I think that is something that is comforting. And by struggling, I just mean struggling to fake the funk, struggling to maintain this kind of, like, oh, I'm just really happy to, So now I am going through the motions of applying for jobs. I mean, I haven't started yet. I'll be starting tomorrow, I think. But I think this definitely speaks to when we are sitting in the seat of being grateful for what we have. Oh, excuse me. Being excited for what we have, and then those things not manifesting in a way that we're like super excited about. And in fact, other things are coming through. I was like, okay, like if this is what I need to do, then I will do it, because I'm not going to sit here and be like, nope, I'm just going to be stubborn. I'm not going to get a job when there are people in my household right now who are doing things they don't want to do in order to bring money in. And I think, and this could be you, but it can be tough being a spiritual leaning person, a person who trusts, a person who knows things are going to change, while also then contending with a lot of the same, or not the same, but you're contending with other people's lack of trust. 12 minutes and 12 seconds. As I say that, you're contending with other people's reality. Like, the reality for other people in my life is that they have to work, is that being evicted is the worst thing in the world, is that we have nothing else other than what we have in that moment. There is no hope. There is no joy. 12 minutes and 34 seconds as I say this. So there are a lot of people who that is their path. It's not my path. I have a lot of hope. I'm still really excited about the things that I'm doing. Would I love for there to be a situation where I blew up overnight and, I had thousands upon thousands of dollars? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That'd be fucking dope. You already know. And I think it's interesting that this is happening again. If you're watching this now, the Venus that was in retrograde, that was in Gatorade, has finished, I believe. And now I believe where Mercury is in Gatorade. And we already had the full moon that last happened. It was interesting. During that full moon, I was going to try to do new stuff with streaming. And Spirit was like, don't you dare. Don't you dare do that. And I was like, why? And it was like, now is not the time to start new things. I was like, okay, so that's actually part of the reason I held off doing any job hunting, because I was like, no, I'm not going to start anything new. I'm not going to do anything different. I'm going to maintain. And then for this past full moon, the big thing, I don't know if some of you saw or if you saw, but the big thing was this past full moon was good for releasing what no longer serves you, for getting rid of limiting beliefs in self, and for doing shadow work. So really looking internally at things that you were struggling with and really dealing with that. And it was interesting because during that time, like over the past week, I've had a lot of things crop up from my past, such as 14 minutes and 14 seconds as I say this, but such as me creating whole lives in my head in order to get through my physical day-to-day, when my physical day-to-day is a struggle to live through sometimes. And it's not a struggle because of any specific thing that is happening. That's just how I've always done it. Like when I was a kid, I did have days where things were tough. And so I created this habit of creating an alternate life in my own mind where I could be and I could just be happy there. And I think that's just been my habit my entire life. I am 32 now and I've always been doing this. And so Spirit recently was like, that's enough of that. And so the first day that I just kept reminding myself to be in the present moment, I was very calm. And this was 2 days ago. I was very calm. And my sister was like, "You're different. What's up?" And I was like, "I kind of feel like I don't have anything to hold on to right now." And she was like, "What do you mean?" And so I explained that I wasn't doing that anymore. And she was like, "You've literally been doing that every day?" I was like, "Yeah, no, every day since childhood, I have had, like, in my mind, I've created a reality where I can just kind of be, where I can be happy and I can be excited." And since I've started streaming, I've noticed that, like, I in my day to day is a lot more chill. So it's a lot of moving parts. So I talked to my sister a couple days ago, and she was saying, she asked me to describe how I felt. 15 minutes and 55 seconds as I'm saying this. She asked me how I felt. And I told her essentially what I was feeling was kind of this emptiness. Like I kind of felt hollow. I was like, I'm doing this streaming and I love it. I love it so much. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going until I am moved to do something else or until I can't. I'm loving, like, streaming video games. I'm having so much fun. So I have that. And then with that comes marketing and promoting myself in that area, only as I am moved, obviously. And I said, and now, you know, I've been asked to look for employment. And so because I believe in assisting the household and I believe in supporting the people who I'm living with, I'm definitely, like, I have a plan in place of how I'm going to go about doing that. And then I had kind of a scammy situation crop up, where I've had a couple of people reach out to me and be like, "Hey, let me do digital design for you for your like my kind of like my logo, like my gaming and streaming logo, like Tato the Penguin." And I had a couple situations where 17 minutes and 17 seconds as I say this, where people, it felt very scammy. It felt very, I'm going to send you this money and then I'm not going to hear from you. And so I had to step back. And then when I stepped back and I was like, you know what? A person will reach out to me whenever they're ready to reach out. I had a friend reach out and said, "Hey, are you still looking for somebody to design a logo for you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I have this person. She is a model, but she also does digital design on the side. You should reach out to her and see what she has to say." So I reached out and I was honest about the fact that I don't have a budget for anything for my business right now because I don't have currently, all of my funds in abundance are in escrow, as I've said before. And so she reached back out to me today and was like, "Yeah, let's hop on a phone call or let's meet in person. Like, let's talk details. What are you looking for? What do you want done?" And that happened and I was excited, but my response wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought my response would be like me jumping up and down and me being excited, but I've just been very, like, hollow feeling. And when I described it all to my sister, she goes, "This kind of sounds," and she was like, "I don't know, I could be pulling this out of my ass." She was like, "But it kind of sounds like you're kind of like you're getting close to what peace actually is." And I remembered I've always been asking for peace. It's one of the things I've been asking for. It's like, I just want to be at peace, like at peace. I've been anxious a good chunk of my life. I've been doing this spiritual journey since October of last year, and I keep feeling like I'm close, but I never like feel like I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? And when she said it, I got teary-eyed, and she was like, "What's wrong? Like, why is this a bad thing?" And I was like, "It's not a bad thing. It's just I've been operating at this level for so long. I feel like I'm gonna miss it. Like, I'm gonna miss that spark. Like, I feel like I've had this spark this whole time." And as I kept talking, I realized I may have been operating at like a level of mania for so long. Like, I always felt like if I wasn't jumping up and down, spinning on my head, spitting jelly beans, then I wasn't happy. Like, if I was at this level, I didn't feel good. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so low energy? What's happening? And I've been concerned for so long that this place, like, I've been running from this feeling for the longest time, because this feeling I've always associated with depressive episodes, because in the past it almost felt like this, almost. But then my sister said, well, how is it different from those episodes? And I was like, well, I still want to be here. Like, I'm excited about waking up tomorrow. I'm excited about streaming. I actually am excited about applying to jobs and seeing if anything does come through. Maybe things have changed. Maybe there'll be something that will help me make money in order to put money into the thing that I'm doing. And so I told her, I said, yeah, I'm just kind of letting go of the need to control situations. I know I'm all over the place in this video, but this was another thing over the past 3 days during the full moon. Excuse me. This was another thing that I was working through, and it was my entire life, because I've had this fear of harm to my body, harm to my spirit, harm to my emotions, getting my feelings hurt. I'm very sensitive. Most Aquariuses are. And a lot of people are sensitive too. I'm not just saying, just because of my astrological sign that I'm sensitive, but if you are an Aquarius watching this, we're two sensitive ass bitches. But one of the things that I realized was the need to release during this full moon. One of the things I needed to release was the creating a separate reality in my mind. Let that go. And the other thing was releasing control, relinquishing the need to control, and relinquishing thinking that I am controlling things. Because at the end of the day, I'm not. At the end of the day, the thing that I have control over is my own physical body, my emotional state, my thoughts. I do have control over that. But that's about it. And I had a hard day of just sitting with that reality and saying, I have to let go. I have to let go. And the ego wanted to fight back so hard. The ego was like, no, we're not letting go. Excuse me. The ego wants to be relevant. It wants to be in control. It wants to try and protect me. And so I was dealing with all that. And then as I was lying there, opened my phone. I was moved to open my phone. And I was on Rednote, which I still use. I use Rednote, and I post on there, which is the Chinese app that people hopped over to when TikTok was banned, and then everybody hopped back. Not everybody. There are a bunch of people who are still on Rednote who are on there. It's very peaceful over there. It's very peaceful. It's pretty chill. But I went on there, and then I went on TikTok, and I saw a video, and the video essentially said, 23 minutes as I'm talking about this, it said, you are being, and you need to hear this, you are being moved to heal. 23 minutes and 23 seconds as I'm saying this. You're being moved to heal, not to deal with more trauma. You're being moved to heal so that you can enjoy the peace. You're being moved to heal so that you can enjoy the good things coming to you, so that you can be happy. That's why you're healing. That's why you're being moved to let go of a lot of stuff. That's why so many of you were moved to cut people out of your life, or to get rid of toxic thought patterns and, toxic thought paradigms. I am being moved to let go of the need to control, because good things are coming, and I want to be able to enjoy those things. And the way that my controlling nature has a tendency to pop up is it doesn't allow me to enjoy good things that happen to me. I thought about the soulmate thing, and part of the reason I am being moved to stop creating this separate reality is because I need to be fully present over the next couple of months and for the rest of my life, as the things that I have asked for, that I'm walking towards on my path, crop up. As they pop up, I need to be fully present so I can be there. And I had talked about disassociating a little bit in another video a long time ago, but with what I'm talking about with the different realities, that's not disassociating. At least that's not my version of it. So let me not say that as a blanket statement. Look up all these statements, online, all of these terms and phrases. But for me, I would actually create a fantasy world where I would be there and I would choose to go there. I wouldn't just go there automatically. I would choose to, like, okay, so it's kind of like fan fiction is what I would be doing. And I've been doing that since I was a kid. I would create like my own fan fiction that I would just kind of be chilling in mentally. I wouldn't write it down, I would just be there mentally. But I am moved to let that go because a loving relationship is there for me. That soulmate connection is there. So there is no need to be in this fake reality where I'm essentially trying to soothe myself there when my reality is good. And I'm just now realizing that if I'm consistently creating this other reality, what is being communicated to spirit, to the divine, to God, what I'm communicating is my life here isn't good, so I need to be somewhere else. So what does that do? It just brings more of the not good feeling. Like I said, I'm sorry that I'm all over the place, but that's what I've been contending with. And at first I cried about this kind of feeling low energy and realizing that the majority of my life I've been operating in this high energetic place, not because that's where I'm comfortable, but it's 26 minutes and 26 seconds as I'm saying this, but I've been operating there primarily because it was like a survival mechanism. Like if I wasn't happy and laughing and smiling all the time, my parents would essentially pick at me. When I was younger, they'd be like, what's going on with you? Straighten up your face. Like people around me were not comfortable with people being low energy. So, and my mother is very extroverted. And so for her, anytime anybody was introverted or quiet or, just kind of chilling, it was something that she felt the need to fix. And it's not something that needs to be fixed. There are those of us who are just really chill. We're just chilling out. And I like to laugh. I like to joke. I like to have a good time. But over the past couple of days, I have seen like my whole body just feels different. Slipping into this place of just emptiness. Like there's not like a whole lot happening. And it's weird. Like it really is not similar at all to my depressive episodes. Like the more I think about it and the more I sit on it, it really does feel like I've exhaled. Like I was holding on to a rope that had a bunch of weights on it for years, and then I finally let go. I'm just kind of chilling. And I find it interesting that the request made to me to look for a job, essentially because, my parents need help, that request came at around the same time that I was releasing the need to control things. So I don't know if that's significant. It might be. I don't know. But it's interesting though, because I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, like she had asked for my help with something. And I was like, yeah, I can help for now, but once I start working, I'm not gonna have the time to do this. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, because I'm gonna be tired. The way my brain works is that I'm going to be exhausted pretty frequently after work because I'm also going to maintain streaming. I'm not going to stop because that's important to me. So there's a lot of stuff that I've been doing because I'm not working that I've been able to do in the house. Everybody else has been busy and I've been doing it, but I'm not going to be able to do it anymore. And she just looked at me like, oh. I was like, yeah, like that's how time works. Like I only have the time that I have right now because it's not being filled by other stuff. So that is something to keep in mind. If you are in a relationship where you're like, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, anything that you're requesting other people do is going to take time. It's going to take mental energy to do. And so many of us have a habit of asking for things, but then when it's like, okay, well, you're going to have to give this other thing up in order to do that, you don't want to give it up. So like so many of us have been like, oh, well, this is the lifestyle I want. And it's like, okay, you're going to have to give up these things that you've been caring for all these years. And people are like, oh, I don't want to give that up. So it's like to be in a healthy relationship, you're going to have to dial back the pettiness. And so many people that I know are like, what? No, like, this is just how I am. And Spirit's looking at him like, then you're not going to get what you're asking for. You're gonna get a bunch of fuck dudes or, you know, fuck girls who are in your DMs, and you're like, oh, why am I not finding the person that I'm wanting? Because the person that you want doesn't do you being petty. Like, you can't, you're like, I want this type of person, and I'm not the type of person that person would want, but I just want that person to want me anyways. It's like, okay, you know, if you think that that's gonna work, more power to you. But one of the things on my soulmate journey that I've been asking for is a person who will essentially support me, and I can support them, and we can lean on each other, and we can be there for each other, and I can let them do a lot of the leading, so relinquishing control makes sense with what I've, you know, what I am moving towards on my pathing. Something that was also really interesting during the full moon was that it was bringing up a lot of historic things. So this was an actual period of time where if you heard people saying, oh yeah, your ex is probably going to try to get back with you, or your ex is going to reach out, or past situations are going to crop up again, they did. Oh my gosh, they did. So many people that I know were like, why am I hearing from this person from the past? They ghosted me and didn't say anything. And I told my best friend, I was like, I have a feeling it's like the universal test. So it's like if you had a dream about your ex, or you were moved to reach out to past people and you did, and shit popped off, that was you showing your spirit that you're not necessarily ready to move forward yet with that new relationship. But if you had dreams about your ex and you were like, I want to, you know, I want to maintain what I'm doing, I don't want to reach out, like I'm good, then you have essentially ended a cycle. You ended your historic cycle of continuously going back and trying to revitalize and rekindle relationships that were meant to end, connections that were meant to be severed, ties that were meant to be cut. And so I actually had 2 or 3 dreams during the full moon, which was crazy. I had 2 or 3 dreams about all of my exes, every single one. And in the dreams, I was engaging, I was very cordial, I was very nice. I was like, you know, I'm glad y'all living your best life. And then when I woke up, I had the thought, do I want to reach back out? I was like, nah. My inner child was like, no, we're good. We're good moving forward. We are good. But then I heard people that were not good. And that was crazy. That was super crazy to hear about, that a lot of people did go back. And it's not that people failed necessarily. It's more so that just you're not in your space ready to move forward. You know, if you didn't reach back out and you're like, no, I'm continuing on, then I definitely think that that means that your stuff it's on the way. And I think everybody's stuff is on the way. I think we just make our own decision of whether or not we want to bring that in, or whether or not we're pushing it away. And I feel like consciously a lot of people are like, well, obviously I'm pulling it towards me, Yasha. Duh, I want my shit. But a lot of people say, oh, I want this person, but I don't want what this person brings. So then ultimately you don't want that person. Because if you want a soulmate, a person who is about your betterment, but you're fighting being better as a person, 33 minutes and 33 seconds as I say that, then it's going to be a bit difficult for you. It's going to be a bit difficult. Like for me, for years, I've been saying of the type of relationship that I've wanted, and every time like an ex popped up or a similar situation to like a dating situation I had before popped up, I would break. I would immediately fold, and I would talk to this person. I would try to be in their face because I was just tired of being alone. I really wanted to be held. I wanted to be, you know, loved on, kissed on. I wanted to have, you know, I wanted to be in a relationship with somebody. And when the opportunity presented itself because of desperation, I would just jump right on it super quick. I had all of the dating apps downloaded. I had profiles everywhere. I was continuously trying to post. I was swiping. I was looking for my person. And now I don't feel the need to look. Like, I know everything that I'm doing now that is exhausting me is being done because excuse me, because I'm in this place of moving forward. So yeah, so that's the update that's been happening with me all over the place. Again, I'm sorry, but that's what I've been doing. I've been just big processing, big contemplating. Something that was frustrating the mess out of me is that TikTok is saying that my profile that I created where I'm posting video game stuff doesn't exist. It wouldn't let me log in, and nobody else can really see it. So I don't know. Maybe it's a sign that I don't need to be using TikTok anymore. I should just let that go. So I think I might. I don't know if I'll be able to post anything. I'll probably post a video about it maybe tomorrow and be like, yeah, so if you're following me for gaming stuff, you're going to have to follow me elsewhere, because TikTok is, first off, TikTok shadow banned me. So I would only get a couple of views on things, whereas before, when I would post things at the exact same time of day I would post it, it would pop up for people, so I would get at least I would get views showing that it was actually trailing. But now it's like the video's being blocked, and I believe that there is a reason for everything that is happening to me right now. So I trust it. So I think TikTok will just be a place where I go and I support other people, because I support quite a few channels on TikTok. But I don't know if I'm supposed to be marketing on there for real. Because it just keeps getting harder to do. And I think I told you in another video that I did, that if you are trying to do something and it seems like everything is coming out of the woodwork to stop you, you may need to pause and reevaluate if that's the path you need to be taking right at this time. So because of that, I mainly post on Instagram, I post on YouTube. So that's what I'm currently doing. I'm also on Snapchat. I be taking pictures and stuff. I be taking video footage. But man, it's been crazy. Like I said, I'm a millennial, and so the way that I do things is very kind of like, it's a lot. It's a lot of information. It's a lot to read. Most of my videos are pretty long form, and the reason they're long form is because I don't know how to edit, and I don't have an editor. So as much as I would like to edit a lot of my gaming videos that I post on here, I want to edit them so that they're shorter, so that people can kind of pop in, and they're all super long form right now because I don't have an editor. And so my sister told me, she was like, everything like that you do is very like extensive. And she was like, for the purpose of your gaming stuff, she was like, see if when you post things, if you can make it shorter, something that a person can just look at for what it is and then move forward. 37 minutes and 37 seconds as I say that. So if you're posting things and you're posting content, maybe open yourself up to the possibility that there's a better way to do what you're trying to do. So for me, when she said that originally, back in the day, she'd made a statement like that before, and I bucked at it. I was like, how dare you? Not how dare you, but I was very like, excuse me. I was very against it, because I felt bad about being a millennial, and I was like, I'm not old, I'm not outdated, like the way I do everything is fine, but this is how older generations fuck themselves. Like, I am not old per se, like I am middle-aged, but there's a generation below me who is doing stuff, who's making things happen. They're drinking, they're working, and so to try and pretend that I'm one of them, I'm not. I'm a millennial, and that's okay. It's okay to accept where you're at in life. And so being 32 and doing gaming stuff and, watching the gradual growth of all of my channels, and my sister told me, she was like, all right, so you're doing pretty good and you got like a lot of followers today. And she was like, but something I'm being moved to tell you to remember is that sometimes things plateau. So you might have like a period of time where you're not seeing any new views, you're not seeing any people subscribing or following or liking, and she's like, that does not mean you need to stop. Continue to be consistent. Those things have a tendency of taking out even the most excited of people, because you make the assumption that what you're doing just isn't working, because you want to see consistent buildup in numbers. So I was like, no, yeah, you're right. So that was something that she told me, and I actually asked for her help on my marketing. I was like, yeah, I would love your help, when I'm thinking about posting something to market myself or promote my content or stuff like that. I would love for your input as a person who is a part of Gen Z. Like, you guys they do shorter form content. you know, so that it's not something you feel like you have to dedicate 3 hours to do. Me, I love long form content, and I think it's just because long form content has been there for me in the past. Like short form content's okay depending upon what it is, but for the most part, I love when, you know, channels that I follow post hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long content for me to just set up in the background and watch while I'm doing other stuff. I love that shit. But I know some people are very like, oh, like I'm literally wanting to go through their content and watch it, but I want to speed through. And it's interesting because, like, I'm not moved to change everything about what I'm doing in order to appease to people. Because again, the whole reason why I started streaming was because I just always wanted to do it. 40 minutes and 40 seconds, as I say that. I've always wanted to stream. I'm hearing thunder. I've always wanted to stream. And then I enjoy gaming and being able to chat with people while I game. People online. And it's a place where people can come and they can relax and they can chill. They can pop in if they want. They can leave if they want. That's the why. So something I'm being moved to tell you is to remember your why. What is your why? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? And be honest with yourself. You don't have to be honest with me, but you got to be honest with yourself. Why are you doing this? Why are you still on the path that you're on? Because when things get dicey, when you're low energy, when the chips, you know, are falling and everything is kind of feeling weird, or you're feeling a bit pressed against the wall because of finances, excuse me, your why is going to be the driving force. It's going to be the thing that keeps you moving, keeps you going. So remember your why, my love. Remember your why. It's very important. So yeah, man, that's what I've been up to. That's what I've been doing. I am not living in a different living situation as of yet. I am still in the same living situation I was in as of October 2024. And the reason I say that is because it's so important for me to be keeping track of everything as it's going. I have crazy. In October of 2024, I thought streaming was like that wasn't even something I was going to do. But now I've been doing it for 3 weeks. I've been enjoying it for 3 weeks. I've been having a fun time. I've made mistakes and I'm learning from those mistakes. Like there was one game I found and it looked really good, but I just skimmed the description because I couldn't be bothered to sit there and read the whole thing and watch videos of the gameplay and everything. And so I just started playing it and didn't realize it wasn't like a cutesy dating sim. It was actually a kind of like a relationship simulator. Like you're in a gaslighty, you know, verbally abusive, manipulating relationship, and the game has 3 different endings. I got ending 2. And you're essentially just in this relationship having to navigate it. And boy was I surprised when I figured out that that's what it was. And I was like, oop, lesson learned. I need to make sure I vet every game. I read through it. You know, I see if there's anything that could potentially be an issue for viewers or for myself as I'm playing it. And from that, I actually had a couple people tell me that they were like, hey, put me on the list of people to vet video games. If you have an idea of a game you want to play, send it to me and I'll do the deep dive so that you don't have to. And they're people that I trust, people who actually watch these videos. So that's great. But man, I tell you, man, the eclipse, the full moon, the planets being in retrograde, it has done a serious number on you, girl. But what's crazy is it hasn't been like a lot of arguing and fighting and knockdown, drag out stuff. Like it hasn't been that. It's been internal. It's been internal. And so my bestie, she was going through it. She was like, man, there's so much stuff happening on my side of things. Are you okay? Are you safe? I was like, actually, yeah, it's just all been internal. It's not a whole lot to write home about, honestly. I mean, it is, but then it's not, because I'm used to shadow work. Like, I know what that looks like. I know how to do it. It's just a bit exhausting. I kind of want to take a nap after I do this. I'm actually recording this earlier in the day than I usually do because I was moved to. So I just came in the closet, put stuff on, and was like, all right, let's get it done. Let's make it happen. I was actually creating thumbnails, and I just posted a video on here, a gaming video of me playing Skyrim. And that game is so funny to me. But after I did that, I was like, man, I'm just not in the mood to do anything else today. Like, I'm really not. Even the person that messaged me was like, hey, let's talk about design stuff. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm just not in the mood to do anything else today other than what I've done. And if you're in that place, that's totally fine. We can be in this place together. But yeah, man. As far as the getting paid and pampered to play, this was something that I wanted. I am playing a lot more, and I can feel it. My inner child is noticing. As far as the pay goes, I am receiving followers. I am receiving people that comment or that are popping into my chats. So that's happening. As far as the soulmate journey goes, I am actively making changes that are affecting that journey. So while that person hasn't shown up yet, I am in this place where I am just prepping for that more. Anytime I'm like, I'm ready, I'm good to go, Spirit's always like, there's this other thing that you're going to want to deal with before that person comes along. I'm like, okay, what was the other thing? And then having an over amount of abundance. That my stuff is still in escrow. So all of my abundance and finances, they're still in escrow. And it's crazy because historically I would be really frustrated right now with the fact that things are not happening in the way that I want them to because I want to control the situation. But again, I've told you guys before that growth is not linear. You know, it's not, it just goes like this and then it's like that and then it's up the whole time. It hits one of these, it hits one of these, it hits one of these, it hits one of these. Like, it's constantly changing. So that's what we're doing. That's what's happening. 46 minutes and 46 seconds as I say that in this video. So I guess in finishing up, the things that I want to communicate to you all are, remember to really solidify yourself in the present moment. Be where your feet are at. Notice the things that are around you, where your feet are at. Spiritually, do not assume that because what you're seeing is what it is right now, that this is always what it's going to be. Sometimes it can feel like that. It can feel like you're trapped. It can feel like there's no way out. But don't allow yourself to sit in that place. Sometimes it's good to sit there and be like, man, it kind of sucks where I am. I'm not happy where I am. It's good to know that you're not happy where you're at. It's good to be able to be connected to yourself enough to know that you're unhappy. Because some people don't. Some people are just going through this life. They're unhappy. They don't know why. They're feeling trapped. They don't know why. And so then they're just draining themselves. They don't understand what's happening. So be where your feet are at. Have the awareness to know that where you're at is not going to always be where you're at. The reality of the situation, what you're dealing with right now, is the result of previous things that you put out into the universe. Previous. So I'm where I am right now because there was a period of time, I remember very clearly, that wasn't so long ago that I was upset and like super depresso. It was literally right before October. The reason I made my change, so let's see, October, November, December, January, February, March. So that was 6 months ago. So 6 months ago, I was not feeling good. I was feeling really doubtful about my life. I was very upset, even though I had just graduated with my master's degree, and that was something to be excited about. I wasn't excited about it. I was very like, what is going on? Which is why I made the change spiritually. So that was 6 months ago. Now I'm not at kind of the end place where I wanted to be 6 months ago, but I have officially been streaming for 3 weeks, which is something I never thought I would do. I have a much better relationship with my mom in particular. Our way of engaging is not as weird as it was before, so that's a lot better. I am now in this place where I don't feel the need to be high energy when I'm not. And that is a giant weight off of my shoulder. That's a giant weight. And I know some people might be like, well, that could have been something you figured out months ago. It could have been, but there was a lot of other bullshit that I had to work through in order to even get to this place. Remember, you're having to unlearn a lot of shit so that you can learn simple things. Like, there are simple things that we know to do, but we can't actively do them because we're working against years upon years upon years of learned behavior. Something that I had to accept is that I've been saying, oh, society made me this way, because of the way society is. And there's definitely a part of that that is true because, nurture also creates, like, it also, your personality is developed not just from nature, but also from nurture, how you are nurtured. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So it wasn't just, excuse me, 50 minutes and 23 seconds as I hit that big ass yawn. I've started saying that I did this. I created the thoughts. I created the challenges. The trauma that I went through, I internalized that trauma and started doing things. Now, for me, what that does is it actually makes me really happy because it means that I have some control over what's going on in my own mind. Like, I can stop myself from being so negative about things. I can stop myself from looking at my reality and snowballing and being like, it's never going to be any different. I actively can go into my mind and I can change my belief system. I have the power. I have the power. Like, I can do it. And it gives me hope. It makes me excited. Not gonna lie to you guys, I really was hoping the next time I did this video that I would be able to come with like really big, shocking news, like for the purpose of being like, yeah, you see, everything that I've told you guys this whole time, it's become this. But yeah, full transparency, it's definitely still a journey. It's something I'm walking, and I'm realizing the big stuff isn't gonna happen just big out of nowhere. It's gonna be a gradual build, as it's been this whole time. So I went from just doing these videos and only having done 3 of these videos and not seeing any change to having over 1,000 followers here on YouTube, which love you guys. Love those of you who are following me. Thank you for being here. 1,000 followers on YouTube. A few, I have, I think 16 followers on Twitch, which is where I stream. When I go live, that's where I'm at. I have followers on the new Instagram account that I made specifically for Tato the Penguin for my gaming stuff. So I am moving. It's gradual though. It's gradual. It's not like a microwave where you stick it in and the popcorn's done in 3 minutes. Like, this is you gotta be consistent. And I've gotta be consistent. So we've got this, my love. We've got this. We're being consistent. We're putting the time in. I put the time in. We're investing. And also learning to enjoy where we're at so that we're not constantly pushing for something else. Because again, I feel like that's so ungrateful. For me personally, I have a tendency to be really, really ungrateful for what's happening in my present moment when I focus so heavily on the future. It's funny because I think I told you all that I had not run into a person that was at the level of, like, I haven't run into a person that I've been so attracted to where if they asked me out, I would say yes. Like, energy-wise, I've not had that happen in years. The other day, I got a knock on the door, and I opened the door, and there was a beautiful man at the door, speaking to me low. He was there, one of the services that we have, he was there to talk to us about the service that we have and everything, and it was such a nice conversation. But it was also happening during the full moon, and so, he's kind of smiling at me, and I was like, well, thank you, you have a good day, and I closed the door, and I was like, damn, I was this close to being like, do you have, are you available? Are you available for me to speak to? But Spirit was like, nope, don't start anything new during this time. Don't start anything new during this time. Just be doing your shadow work, release what no longer serves you, get rid of those limiting beliefs, clear it out. I did a lot of cleaning over the past couple of days. I've cleaned a lot and I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. I always feel like this is what you have to do before you start doing new stuff. You have to clear out things so you can make room. And I feel like I've been clearing out for the longest time, y'all. I feel like I've been doing shadow work. I feel like I've been clearing stuff out for the longest time. I do trust the process. But when I tell you that I'm definitely like, I'm constantly like shaking my leg. I'm like, oh my gosh, when is big stuff gonna happen, But it's a whole thing. It's a whole experience. So if you find yourself feeling similarly to how I'm feeling, you're not alone. You're not crazy. You're not doing anything wrong. You know, it is a lot. If you've been working since 54 minutes and 54 seconds, as I say this, if you've been working since October of last year, it's been 6 months of feeling like we're doing the same things over and over again. That's kind of what it feels like. But it is different. I have not reached out to any of my exes like I've done historically. I have been consistent in the areas that I've wanted to be consistent in, which has not been the case before this. I know, like, not everything of what I want to do, but I have such a good idea and I'm having so much fun doing what I'm doing, which has not been the case before. I'm doing it in a way that is sustainable so I can keep doing this. That has not been the case before. So there have been a lot of changes, and I think the changes that have happened have been me. So it's like since October, a lot of the changes that I've made have been letting go of mental things, and now I don't feel like I'm drowning. I feel like I'm standing above the water. I'm able to skip stones on it. You know, it's pretty quiet, it's pretty peaceful. So yeah, but I'll tell you what, I was fighting it. I was fighting it like a baby fighting sleep. I was like, this type of peacefulness, it feels a little empty. Like, where's the pizzazz? Where's the spark? Only to realize that the spark that I was feeling was anxiety. You know when you've heard people say, when you meet somebody and you get a bunch of butterflies and you get nervous, that's not the person you want to be with. You want to be with the person who makes you feel like you are at home. The person you feel safe with, and you feel comfortable with. Like, a lot of therapists have talked about the fact that the exciting kind of I'm gonna throw up type feeling that a lot of us get when it comes to relationships actually isn't healthy. It's your body letting you know that something is off here because it's not sustainable. And I think that's what I'm letting go of. And I got emotional because I was like, well, I've always been like really high energy and really excited to do stuff, and like, am I gonna be boring now? Who am I gonna be now? But I don't think I need to know. I'm really happy being low energy. I'm really happy being in this place where if I move to do something, I do it. I'm not so in the controlling aspect anymore. I like that. I like that a lot. I like being here. Again, it's just different. It's so different. It's so different. It's so different from how I've been acting before. So again, if you're not seeing big changes, if you're not seeing the quickness that you thought you were going to see, there's a reason for that. It could be that what you are, the life that you're looking to live, you are changing to be that person. I'd like to know. Do y'all feel like you've made like significant changes in your own space? Like, you're not seeing the changes, but you feel different. Something's changed. Or do you feel like you're the same and things just aren't happening? How do you feel? I'd like to know. You never have to comment, like, or subscribe to any of my stuff, but I love it. I love seeing you guys and talking to you guys. I love it. It's really nice. It makes me happy. But anyways, that's all I have for you all today. I hope this video made some semblance of sense. And my hope is that you all have a fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you're at. I hope that you get some water in at some point. Get some water in. For those of you who can, get some fruit. Get some good fruit in your diet. Eat some good fruit. I had something just now. Be consistent. Be consistent with your path, my love. Be consistent with your journey. The universe is not, I don't believe it is something that you essentially go, if you don't do what I want you to do, then fuck you. I personally don't think it's like that. I think the universe is organic, but I think it works off of what we are giving it. And I feel like there is a natural delay that happens in the universe, because if we got everything that we asked for immediately, a lot of us would not be here anymore because we wouldn't know how to handle it. So I think there is a reason for everything that is happening this year. I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's a reason. Alrighty, well, that's all I have. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a fantastic next 12 hours, and even more than that if I don't see you again for a while. Like I said, I stream Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you ever want to pop in and ask me questions, hey, if you ever want to pop in there and ask me spiritual questions, you can. I'm not on Twitch just to game. I enjoy chatting with people. So if I'm ever live on Twitch, and I typically try to post that I am, if I'm on there, feel free to come in and ask me questions in the chat about what's happening. You know, I don't always have the best advice, but I'm willing to give you guys my thoughts and feelings about what's happening. So I am live twice a week. I am live where you all have access to me at least twice a week on Twitch. So you can come on over there and you can talk to me. We can talk. The way I have everything set up, I have not figured out how to go live on YouTube, and I haven't been moved to do that. So I think there might be a reason for that. But yeah, so come on over and talk to me about whatever. It doesn't have to be video game related. So yeah, I love you guys, and I will holler at y'all later. Bye.